Hello everyone, it is Wednesday night and that means it's time for another Facebook Live. Tonight we are playing with Desert Details. I'm going to give you a minute to join me, and while you're doing that, I will share this to my group in case somebody's looking for it there. So this is one that I hadn't played with very much until just lately, but it's really a fun set. All right, we'll get this shared over. Right before I came on, I got a tickle in my throat, so I'll try not to cough too much. I've got some water, so I can drink that to help. I think allergy season is starting now. I guess the warm weather that we had earlier in the week has started the allergy season. Hey, buddy. We're getting this shared to the group, and then we will get started. All right, there we go. All right, a couple of things before we get started. There are new products available online. You can only see them online. You can place an order with me. You don't have to place an online order to purchase them, but you can only see the products online. So there are these new online exclusives. They're going to do this, I believe, 3 times a year. So we've got catalogs that come out at certain times, and then in between the catalogs, they'll do these online exclusives. This is just a selection of them. So this is not everything that's available online. This was just what we could pre-order. So there is a QR code that you can scan. I'll leave that on the screen for just a minute. To see everything that's in the online exclusive, or you can just go to stampinup.com and look for online exclusive and find them all there. But there's some beautiful things. I've already purchased all this and showed you some of this, but I've got another thing coming that is like a tropical leaf punch and a stamp set that goes with it. So I'm excited to get that. All right, so every Wednesday I do Facebook Live, and everybody that comments on this video here on Facebook gets in the drawing to win the card from last week. So this is the card we made last week, and that is using that new stamp set. This new stamp set right here, Irresistible Blooms, and the new embossing folders, which I love. There's 3 of them, and that's one of them there. So I will announce at the end who won this card from last week. And then next week, somebody will win the card we're making tonight. Also, after I'm done here, on my blog will be the dimensions for the card we're making tonight. So if you want to go make your own, and you don't even have to use the same stamp set. If you just like the layout, you can do that. All right, so I didn't show you, I showed you like a sketch that we were using. So this was a sketch that was on Kay's team group. Excuse me. Team group, we were supposed to put a project we had made using that sketch. Sorry, I had to get a drink. And this was my card that I made. Oh, see how pretty that foil is, that foil paper? So this is the Desert Details. This is the stamp set. I love this. Your smile is pure magic. And then there are dies that go with it, and I used a few of them, a couple of them. So you can die cut the 2 flowers that are in the set. But then you have these fancy dies that cut out other shapes and textures and stuff. And I did use this one to cut out one of our layers. So you'll see that. And then I'll show you some other cards at the end that use some of these other dies. Oh, and I forgot to grab the paper. Let me grab it real quick because it's so pretty. All right, sorry about that. I meant to grab it earlier and forgot. So it's got 2 color families. It's got the warm tones, so like Calypso Coral and Petal Pink. And then it's got the green, soft succulent, and I'm not sure what else. And then I think it's the Sahara Sand is the brown that's in here. So it's got some really nice, just like, this is one of my favorites. Both sides, just beautiful. But really pretty. And really just some nice geometric shapes, some nice, I don't know what you call that. But really, really pretty paper. Oh, I think we already saw that one. So I used that for the circle. Whoops. And then the other paper that goes with this suite is the foil paper. And this is, it's always hard, sorry for the noise, it's always hard to show foil paper on camera because it just kind of reflects. But again, it has two color tones, two colors. So this is the kind of green. Oh, it's not too bad. But see, it has a beautiful foil on it. And then this is the orange. Really, really pretty paper. And that's what I use. Just a little touch of it here in the background behind. And then we'll stamp and die cut that. So let's get started. Let's make this. So we are starting with a note card. So we sell these. I should have looked to see how many come in a pack. 12? Maybe 12? They come in just like this, and you just fold them. And then they have envelopes that match. For some reason, I seem to be out of vanilla envelopes, so I'm not sure what happened to my vanilla envelopes. But I decided I wanted to add a little bit of more warmth to this. Even though it's very vanilla, I wanted a little more color. So I'm taking my Pale Papaya and my blending brush. And I am going to start off on the edge so I don't get like those spots like that on my note card. And it doesn't have to be even at all. I just wanted to add a little color to my note card. And these blending brushes are great. I tend to keep one like for a color family, like one for my oranges and yellows, and one for blues and one for greens. But you can wash them out, and the color, especially if you do it right after you've used it, whoa, sorry about that, will mostly come out. All right, I don't have to go all the way in the middle. That's why I'm just staying pretty much around the outside, because we're going to have lots of other stuff in the middle. All right. That looks pretty good. Okay. While we have that out, I also stamped, and you may not be able to see everything that I did in the background, but I stamped some of these smaller flowers in the Pale Papaya. So just around. That's good. And then we'll get out our Calypso Coral. Everything else is stamped in it. Some other paper. So I have just a scratch piece of paper. And that's what I'll stamp my big flower on, because we're going to die cut it out. So we'll just stamp it in Calypso Coral. Doesn't matter if it's straight or not, because we're going to die cut it. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. I'm going to set that aside. Calypso Coral is a real rich color, so I want to be sure I give it time to dry before I die cut it. And then we have our circle. And this is, you are what sunshine feels like, is the sentiment. So we'll stamp it to the right on the circle, like that. And then the last thing, I decided to add some of these geometric shapes to the back of it. And I can't remember, but I think I stamped off first. So you just stamp off, and then it's not quite so dark. I'm just going to put a few of them on here. And this is kind of an eclectic card, so it doesn't matter if they're straight or exactly the same. So just a little extra texture to it. All right, that is all of our stamping. Get this ink out of the way before I make a mess with it. I'm going to move this for just a minute so we can die cut our flower. It's easier to die cut if you don't have that paper underneath. So I'm using our little mini cut and emboss machine. And I just need to find where I set my dies. There they are. One of these days I need to take a picture of what my table looks like when I do this. You would be surprised. I may have to cut off. Yeah, let me just trim these little jagged pieces a little bit so it can fit through here easier. All right, and this one's not too hard to figure out how it lines up because it's got some of these longer petals. So we'll get that all lined up. Carefully put this on. Carefully, and then I kind of hold it till it gets caught. And just crank it through. And then when you're done, you have this gorgeous flower, all die cut. All right, set this aside. I am going to put my die back where it belongs so I don't lose it. And then let's pull all of our pieces in and let's get this put together. So there's our base and our circle that we stamped on. Now that was die cut using the Stylish Shapes, which is one of my favorite die sets. And then here's the Calypso coral. And I thought about stamping something on it, but I thought, no, we probably got enough going on without stamping on it or embossing it or anything. So that's one of the dies in the set. So we'll just start building them. Put this on first. So I'm just putting it flat on with some Stampin' Seal. You could use Stampin' Seal or your liquid adhesive. So we just put that in the middle. And then these little guys go next. And I tried to, at least on one side, leave the notch where you could see it. So you could tell that it was kind of an interesting die. I guess I could, let's see if we can leave both notches showing. We'll see. Let's see, I bet we can. If you think of it early enough, you can probably do that. I don't want it to be just a complete X though, so that's why I put that a little bit closer on that side. And then this guy is ready to go on. Again, everything so far is just flat. We're going to put him in the middle there. And then this is what we're going to pop up with dimensionals. And I think probably 3 will be enough. There we go. And we'll just set that. I want to be sure I can still see some of my Designer Series paper over there. I don't want to cover up my sentiment. There we go. Beautiful. But just needs a little bit more bling. You know, foil paper is not enough. You got to have some more bling with it. Hey, Ducky. All right, so I have these gold. I can't remember if they're part of this suite. Let's just look real quick because I can't remember. I can show you the page in the catalog that this is on. Page 44. Yep, they are. They're part of that suite. So here's what it looks like in the catalog, and you can see some of the extra dies. And like I said, I'll show you some other cards that I made. But yes, these gold sequins are part of the suite. We didn't use this ribbon. I thought about it, but we didn't. And then there's the paper I showed you. So let's add. Grab my tweezers for this. So I just used the round ones, and I put one down here, and then two smaller ones up here on this Calypso coral. Then I didn't feel bad that it didn't have any stamping or embossing on it because I put some gold sequins on it. And there you go. Isn't that fun? Look how shimmery that is. Oh, you could add some Wink Stella to that and make it even more shimmery. That would be fun. All right. So somebody next week will win this card. Let me show you some of the others. This one was one I got in a swap. It was the shoebox swap, I believe, for Christmas that I didn't get to go to, but somebody was kind enough to stamp for me. So that's using this fun die cut. And then the rest of these I just made playing around. And I think it's gray granite. I guess it's gray granite that goes with this. If you're ever unsure what colors are in a designer series paper, you can look at the back and it'll tell you right here the colors that are in there. So that's always a nice, you can just pick out your favorite designer series paper and pick out those inks and that cardstock and just start playing. So those were both with the warmer colors, and then this is one with the cooler, with the greens. And this is some glimmer paper that's in the mini catalog. There's some more of the foil, some gems. And this, I just put it behind the sentiment. It's just the piece that came out of the middle of there. It was such a pretty piece. I'm like, well, I hate to just throw it away. So lots of shimmer on that one too. And then one more. This one has lots of shimmer. So this is the bigger die cut. And it's got some, there you can see. It's got some lines cut into it. And this one I used some of the teardrop gold. Aren't they pretty? And then just some of the designer series paper. I just cut 3 of them in that fun shape and then just layered them next to each other. All right. There you go. Some other ones. All right. And then let me pull, where did I set the card that somebody won? It's here somewhere. Here it is. It's buried. So last week we made this one. And the winner of this is Debbie. So I will see her tomorrow night at card class, and I will give it to her then. And then somebody will win this card next week. All right, I will see you next Wednesday with something else new. Maybe I'll have my new tropical leaf one that I can use. We can make something with it. Thank you all so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Bye.